chip on my shoulders. I'm just simply saying if I ain't your cup of tea, then drink soda. That's right, it's finally me and I'm bolder. So them counterfeit relationships, I won't lose sleep. Finally me, for real. Walking in my purpose, it's good to be free, for real. Knowing that all things they are working, I finally see myself. I know that I am worth it. I ain't even scratched the surface. He be blessing me on purpose. Finally, you ever been afraid the boys know
Everybody,
what if they don't like what I suggest? What if they get offended? But ain't it crazy how fear can misguide your true intentions when you can be the very person in position someone else go in? You be feeling like your predicament, someone hypocrite.
everybody, come on.
I ain't got it. How in the world I'ma tell you to get it? See, but we all play a part, baby. We all different. You just gotta decide what you gonna do with what you've been given. See, I learned that being humble show don't mean timid. And I learned that if you stumble, you can still finish. See, you ain't got to hide behind nobody. Stop pretending. If you really want it, then get off your behind and get it. So what if they don't see it? That don't mean he didn't give you vision. Shoot, I made them haters lemonade when they gave me visions. What you got is beautiful, baby, start to finish. Differently, no wonder they created you. Finally, me, for real. Walking in my purpose, it's good to be free, for real. Knowing that all things that I work, I finally see myself. I know that I am worth it. I ain't even scratched the surface. He be blessing me on purpose. Finally, I begin to try to convince her work wasn't relevant, but God defends her. Yeah, it's on my good, outweighs my bad days. He knows the plan he has.
Hey everybody, it's finally me for real on Friday. Hey, thanks so very much for joining us. I'm so excited about this guest. I'm gonna bring him on in a few minutes, but I'm excited to have him. Before I do, hey, listen, make sure you do me a favor, and that is you post this, you start a watch party. Text, share it with somebody. You know, we take text it, pass it, post it, and we post it, and let them know we got Pastor Mark Moore Jr. This guy is off the chain. I just love his ministry. I love his energy. I love his vibe. I love what God is doing in his life, and I love to see him rise. So please start a watch party. Do it right now. And of course, remember everything. You guys can get all of these different Finally Me Friday on my YouTube channel. So go on my YouTube channel, Finally Me for Real, and subscribe to the YouTube channel of Finally Me for Real. Of course, last week we had Pastor Jamal. He's going to be coming back again. We had Keith Battle. We had YPJ. I mean, we just got some major folks who just decided to come in this space and Finally Me for Real. Use the hashtag FM the number 4 real. FM the number 4 for real. Of course, guys, you can download my brand new app. All right, there it is. And all of the segment, everything is on my brand new app. And then for those of you who go to the grocery store, you actually need this shirt. You need this shirt. Because you know there's so many people who be rolling up on you in the store. So many people rolling up on you in the store. So you need this shirt so they know they need to stay 6 feet apart. It's better to stay 6 feet apart than 6 feet under. Okay, 6 feet apart than 6 feet under. And all of that can be found on my sportswear, Finally Me for Real, swear.com. Order that shirt today. And every time you go out, just tell some folks, hey, 6 feet apart, because 6 feet apart is better than 6 feet under. So I appreciate everybody. And of course, all of the proceeds to all of my product is going to help those on the island of Trinidad and Tobago. That's where I'm from. So this is a part of my philanthropist work, my effort to give back to those who are in the community and those who are in the country. So again, thanks everybody. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've got two of them. I got I Am Dr. Jazz and I got Finally Me. All right, Finally Me for real. So whichever one you'll get me. You'll get me one with shades and one without shades. Whichever one works best for you, it'll work for us. So listen, I was in South Africa. Well, before I went to South Africa, I had been hearing this buzz about this guy. Just been hearing this buzz all over the country. Everywhere I went, my uncle Tim Clark, Bishop Tim Clark, would talk about him, and everywhere I would just be going on IG and Facebook and just be hearing about this guy. And then my girl Marissa Farrell, who's upcoming amazing sister, powerful sister, she started talking about him, and so I just started following this guy, and man, I started following him, and he is the real deal. He's located in Atlanta, Georgia. He's got his own company. He's going to introduce himself, but the young people love him, and I love him. And last year I went to South Africa, and we were both on the same ticket, preaching on the same ticket for Mr. K, and I got a chance to stay over and hear him and listen. I said, man, if Dr. Boot had ever heard this guy, I think Dr. Boot might have heard him, because I know Dr. Boot would have gone crazy on him. Let me just bring him on here. And he's the CEO of the More Group. All right, he's the CEO of the More Group. What's up, Pastor Mark Moore?
Dr. Jazz, how are you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm on here with you.
Okay, wait a minute. We're not getting any volume from you. So let's go back in and come back out. Can everybody hear him? Let me know y'all can hear him. Hold on. I'm going to bring him back in. Okay. Can everybody hear him? Can y'all hear him? Okay, wait a minute.
Let's try
do a test on your mic one more time.
Yeah, it says that I'm here.
No, we can't hear you yet, so you might have to go out and come back in and let's see it. All right, he's BMW, so he's a black man worth waiting for. Everybody knows it. All right, he's a BMW. He's a black man worth waiting for. He's gonna go out. He's gonna come back in. All right, give us a minute. All right, okay. We can hear him. Okay, how come I can't hear him? Okay. You guys can hear him. All right, you guys can hear him. All right, hold on. Let me get him. All right, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm gonna find him. All right, let's see. Hey.
Okay, I think they could hear me, but you can hear me?
I can hear you loud.
Okay, we're in business now.
Everybody, it's the BMW, a black man worth waiting for.
Yes.
How you doing, Mark Moore Jr.?
I am talking to you, so I'm doing better than I deserve.
Oh man, I just love your energy. I love your ministry. I love your vibe. I love your style. And many people on my platform may not know who you are. And if they don't know who you are, they better get to know who you are. So let's start off first. You are junior, I'm told. So okay, so tell us about your history, your heritage, your family.
Yes, ma'am. I am blessed. Number one, thank you for having me. You literally can have anybody in the kingdom, and you've had some of everybody. So I'm just glad to be numbered among those that are sanctified. But to answer your question, I have the unique privilege and distinction of being able to say that I am a member of I'm fifth generation ministry. And I have ministry literally on both sides of my family. A lot of people are not able to say they go 5 generations deep in ministry. So I've got my parents, my grandparents on both sides, bishops and all of this, my great-grandparents, great-great-grand, and all the way up, literally 5 generations. And so that is the cradle from which I come. I like to say I was born on the front row on Sunday with a 3-piece suit on. This is some families, they know mechanics, and some families they're doctors, and some families are lawyers, some families are this and that. I come from a long line of preachers, and so ministry is that's my background, that's my future, that's my present. And I don't know anything else outside of that. And so because of that launch pad, God has of course afforded me some phenomenal opportunities, and the lines have fallen to me in pleasant places. And I think the thing that I'm most, dare I say, for lack of a better term, known for would probably be the vision that God gave us, known as the Young Leaders Conference, which started as a small gathering, 50 people in a meeting room here in Atlanta, and God has breathed on it. And in just a few short years, we've gone from 50 people to over 5,000 people in 2019, which was our most recent conference. So I'm grateful to God to be here with you and just excited about our conversation.
Absolutely, man. Well, let's jump into the Young Leaders Conference. You know, I grew up in the generation where you went to Hampton Ministers Conference. You know, everybody walked along, and if they got an invitation to do the scripture, not even preach at Hampton, they will call Michael Sa. He got a double-breasted suit. I mean, you know what I'm saying, like that. And did you ever go to Hampton? Have you ever been to Hampton?
I was actually, this is how upset I am about all of this COVID stuff. I was supposed to speak for the young, the late night?
Yeah.
I was supposed to speak, but COVID has just.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
COVID has thrown a monkey wrench. But listen, and I know it might have been disappointing, and I know that's a great platform because I've been in that midnight thing. But when you come out of this, that room is going to be too small. It's going to be.
I receive it.
You know. I say that's the John the Baptist room. You know, they baptize you in that room, and then they bring you to the main stage. And so I understand. So COVID has interrupted a lot of stuff in all of us. And how you doing through it, and how's your family and your parents?
Thanks be unto God. Everyone is well. I think that the scary thing about this whole pandemic has been that when it just started, or when it first began, rather, it began as something on the other side of the world that we've never heard of, places that most of us have never been. But then it progressed, and then it went to the phase of now it's people that I don't know, but I have heard of them. Then it progressed, and it became people that I actually know. And then for many of us by this stage, I'm hard pressed to find anybody that does not know someone directly that has encountered this disease, some of whom have had it themselves. And so thanks be unto God, we have some people on the periphery that are wrestling and coming out of it. But we have had, thanks be unto God, no loss of life in our immediate circle. No one in our church, to our knowledge, has been infected. And so we're standing on the promises of God, and we're proud and excited at what God is doing, and just praying that this thing will soon pass over.
Yeah, and I call you the 40 and under crew.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
So I consider you a futurist. When I see you and what you started with this, the conference, the Young Leader. Well, tell us why you started that. Why did you put that together with 50?
To be very honest with you, and I'm going to be all the way straight, because I know that this is what Finally Me for Real is about. And so I know everybody is sharing. I see some Young Leaders people in the comments. I need y'all to blow it up. Y'all know how we do it. But I started the conference, if I'm being fully transparent, because I got so sick and tired. Remember, I'm fifth generation. So I've been in church, through church, near church, next to church forever. And I got tired, Dr. Jazz, of seeing the same conference over and over with a different title, a slightly different color scheme, but the same thing, the same program, the same layout, the same function. And so I said, wait a minute, we got to do something here. Surely there's another model, another method, and an opportunity. Here was my heart to do something, Doctor, that would merge generations. I used as a launch pad, ironically, a scripture out of Malachi. Don't nobody get nervous in the comments, because whenever we say Malachi, will a man rob God? Yeah, it's more in there. I promise I'll read it. It's more in there than just the tithe and offering scripture. More specifically, the scripture that stood out to me was where it talked about in the last days, I will send my prophet, and he will turn the hearts of the sons to the fathers, hearts of the fathers to the sons, It then says, lest I smite the earth with a curse. And so I've heard that scripture so many times. Okay, there's going to be a turning of hearts, fathers and sons, sons and fathers. But when I really read it, I could not ignore the importance of the beginning of that verse where it talks about, I will send my prophet and he will turn. In other words, what that told me was that it's somebody's responsibility to facilitate this turning of hearts between generations. In part, I said, we can't ignore that either, because he says, lest I smite, if this turning of hearts is not facilitated by somebody, there's a curse that's going to hit the earth. And I was looking around at ministry, and I said, I think that part of what we're suffering from is, dare I say, the curse that comes from there not being this facilitation of hearts. And so I wanted to do something that would bring the young men together because they've got the energy and the strength.
Right.
I wanted to bring the old men, so to speak, because they know the way. And I think that God has honored that vision. I know that God has honored that vision as evidenced by the growth and the multiplication of it. But that's really how it started. I said, we cannot buy in. We cannot continue to push this narrative that all preachers, all women of God, all men of God over a certain age are somehow trying to stop, this young generation. Everybody's not Saul, because all of us are not David. If we the truth of it. A lot of us are Absalom. A lot of us are, we have our own things going on. So I said, let's create an atmosphere where young gifts feel valued and heard and seen and poured into, but old gifts, dare I say, feel respected and honored and revered and feel that what they have is valued and desired. And so it was from that cradle that young leaders initially retreat started, and then it got too big to be a retreat. Let's make this let's go full-fledged conference mode. And God has just been breathing on it ever since.
I mean, I love it. And, as you say, COVID-19 stopped your moment from going to Hampton. I was planning to come to your conference in August.
And you'll be there next year.
And check it out. And I was like, man, well, you have the More Group. Tell them about the More Group, because what I love about you is you have that dual anointing. I think a lot of the time, young preachers who started off, they were always in one lane. They can only do one thing, right? And God help the preachers and the pastors and them who all they can do is hoop or preach, because right now they are in serious trouble. But I like the fact that you balance it. You you have your company, which is the More Group. So tell them about the More Group.
Well, the More Group is really the umbrella by which we host our events and do consulting and master classes and resources and things like that. I am of the mindset, I know you agree with this because you've demonstrated it so powerfully, but I'm of the opinion that if you have more than one skill, you should get more than one check. And I'm working, in fact, you're hearing this first, I'm working on something very big that I want to, the plan is to reveal it around August of this year. But what I want to do is I want to help, and I feel that part of my mission, part of my mandate is to help ministry-minded gifts uncover, tap into, in some cases discover the gifts and the talents that they didn't even know they had, right? One of my favorite parables of Jesus is the parable of the talents. And we have heard, I know most of us in here, shout out to y'all that are sharing, most of us in here I know have heard this story. We've seen it, we've read it, we learned it in Sunday school. Right. But what really jumps off the page at me, yes, we know the master leaves and he entrusts 3 servants with a set number of talents being representative of bags of gold. Some suggest each talent was around $30,000. He says, listen, I'm giving you 1, I'm giving you 2, I'm giving you 5. I'll be back. He leaves town. Time passes. He comes back. He calls them together. All right, guys, let's give an account. What have you all done in my absence? I'm back. I trusted you all with talents. I distributed them according to your several abilities. What did you do? The one with the 2 steps up and says, hey, master, I got good news. I took your 2. I worked it. I doubled it. I turned it into 4. Here's your 4. He says, well done. The one that had 5, same thing. Master, I took the 5 you gave me, flipped it, worked it. I turned your 5 into 10. Here you are. He says, well done. He gets to the 1 talent servant. And he says, all right, what's your report? What were you doing? How did you, what'd you do with it? He says what? Actually, master, I know how you are. I was a little nervous. He says, but what I did was I buried it, but don't worry. Now this is where I gotta really speak up for a second, because I always thought, Dr. Jazz, as a little boy, I thought that the master was mad because the 1 talent servant lost his money. When I read it as an adult with fresh eyes, he didn't lose it. He said, hey, master, that one that you gave me, I'm dusting off. I buried it, but here you go. I didn't lose anything. What does the master say? He says, depart from me, you're wicked and you're lazy. He's angry because here's the revelation that God gave me. Whenever God has deposited something in us, and I would suggest, number one, that God does not really give gifts. He invests gifts because he always wants a return.
Yeah.
Whenever God has made an investment, I hope you guys are hearing this. Our job, our highest goal and aspiration is not to manage it. It's not to maintain it. It should be to multiply.
Yes.
Because the servant that maintained the one,
right,
the master was not pleased. How many of us are guilty of simply feeling that we're doing a great job because we're managing?
Yeah.
We're simply maintaining what God has placed in us. The goal should be to multiply it. And so with the More Group, what I'm trying to do is simply multiply what God has placed inside of me. I think we make the mistake of reducing whatever God has invested to its lowest common denominator. All I do is fish. Well, if you know how to fish, you just created 3 or 4 other jobs.
Right.
One, you can fish, which means you can get a check from catching and then selling fish. Number 2, you can open a fishing clinic where you teach other people how to fish. Number 3, you also ought to be able to have your own line of fishing reels and fishing equipment because you know how it works. So if you really just if we sometimes sit back and look, maybe we've been looking one-dimensionally at something God has trusted us with without realizing that if we just flip it over, if we just turn it, if we look at it from a different perspective, there's more in there than what we initially thought. And I would suggest that every one of us on here, if you're really gonna finally be you for real, you've got to use this time of pandemic and shutdown to say, God, hey, Lord, while I'm stuck at the house, show me what else is in here.
Yep.
Show me what else I can do with what you've deposited, because I'm of the opinion, I feel this thing in my spirit, I'm sorry. I'm of the opinion that God never used anyone in scripture, no one greatly, that only had one skill.
Right.
Nobody. Jesus, God in the flesh, Son of God, Redeemer of the world. But before he got on that cross, he knew how to make tables, chairs, because he was a carpenter. Paul wrote half the New Testament, but when he wasn't writing and being persecuted and starting churches, he had a tent making business.
Right.
Everybody that God uses greatly has a dual nature.
Yeah.
So part of my purpose is to help people discover and embrace and unlock what else is in here.
Yeah, I mean, you are hitting it on the nail in regards to that, because this morning I was talking to I have a small group they call She Boss, because, I'm passionate about elevating women. And I'm talking about the woman who has the oil, whose husband died. She goes to the prophet and, he said, well, what you got in your hands or what you got in your house? And she said, all I got is oil. And he said, well, you should be an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
He said, you should be an entrepreneur. He said, go and borrow some vessels, put the oil in it, sell the oil, pay off your debt, and go live la vida loca.
Yeah.
And I think so many times people don't even know the oil that is in their house. And another thing is partnership. I always tell people purpose and partnership is so, so important, because you can have a vision, but if you don't have the partnership to connect or the resources, so you're hitting it. Now, because you are young and you are in Atlanta, correct? You're Atlanta?
Yes, ma'am.
And so Black Lives Movement, as we, first of all, I know what have happened with George Floyd. I know it has affected you as a Black man. I asked every brother who came on, how have you processed what has happened in the recent weeks?
To be fully honest with you, I honestly, I think I'm still processing.
Yeah.
Because it seems as if right when you're at the point of almost getting a grasp and a grip on what's happening, there's another name, there's another hashtag, there's another video. Let's not forget George Floyd, while he dominated the national conversation, in part because we were able in that case really to literally witness an execution that lasted for 8 minutes and 44 seconds. The whole world saw it. It was impossible to deny. But we were still reeling from Ahmaud Arbery right here in Georgia, who was out jogging and essentially was executed by vigilante justice. Right after Ahmaud Arbery, we're hearing the reports of Breonna Taylor, whose killers have still not been arrested. While we're talking about it. And so we're trying to process this. Wait, you mean she's laying in the bed sleeping, the police break into the wrong home 20-something times with a no-knock warrant, kill her. She's got no criminal record. She's an EMS worker, and we're going to just act as if nothing happened. And then on the heels of that, we then have a George Floyd on our screens. We're now forced to deal with and confront. And again, hope I don't get in trouble, but it's not just the injustice against George Floyd, but if you'll allow me to use George Floyd metaphorically, it's almost as if his death was ripping a scab off of a wound that is not yet healed, because what his death further did to traumatize people of color in this country is it revealed the hearts of men. It revealed the hearts of women who were harboring bigotry and hatred and downright racism. It brought all of that to the surface once again. And so now you're not only having to deal with, God, how am I going to process this? How am I going to, in the future, raise a family in this environment? How am I going to lead people through this? And then you're also now confronted with the fact that so many of these people that we've worked with, that we live next to, we shop at the same store, sit a table apart in restaurants, think less of my humanity than they should. And so it's something that I think we're going to be working through, dealing with, processing for a while, because unfortunately, this is the sickening part, we've been dealing with it for a while. None of this is new. It's being recorded in a different way. It's being broadcast in a different way, but this isn't new. I'll never forget being a child, going to the grocery store, to the gas station with my family. And I'll never forget, I didn't understand at the time, but I remember one time so vividly, Dr. Jazz, I went into the gas station. I was of age where I could go into the little mart by myself at this point. And I went in and I wanted some candy and a Snapple or something. And I remember I went in, I paid, gave ma'am a little money, got my little drink and my candy, and I'm walking out just happy, headed back to the car. My father, I remember, it was so strange to me because I knew I hadn't done anything wrong, but he had this look of concern in his eye. He stopped me. He said, where's your bag? I said, I didn't get a bag. I just had the Snapple and some candy. And I remember the intensity with, he said, son, don't ever come out of a store without a bag and a receipt. Now, in my mind, I'm, why? This is a waste of what? I can carry it. It was not until I got older that I understood. The reasoning for that is because as a young Black man in America, I'm suspicious. I put myself in position to be accused of stealing if I don't have my receipt and my bag. It's these little micro aggressions and things that we, as people of color and men of color and women of color, people of color, period, have to deal with. And it's gonna take something major in order for hearts to change. We're seeing a lot of symbolism. Naming streets that's great. That's great. But that's not what we asked for.
Right.
There's legislation. They said, real estate companies, I think it was in Texas, they're banning the use of the term master bedroom in homes. That's cute, but that's not what we asked for.
Yeah.
Y'all can spray paint Black Lives Matter on everything. You can sing the Black Nation at the football game. That's great, but that ain't what we asked for.
Right.
We want to see real legislative change and systemic adjustments. So it's a lot. It's a lot, Doc. It's a lot.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned it because, I appreciate, okay, you're taking down the statue, getting rid of the Confederate flag. Okay, taking pictures off of the Auntie Mama boxes and all that stuff. But listen, when are you going to give us a seat at the table?
Yeah.
Here's my thing, Moan. I'm from Trinidad, and I understand black and white in some sense in America, but I always say America is green.
Yeah.
It's green. And because it's green, it's all about the dollars. It's all about money. It's all about the economics. It's more about green than anything. And I think somehow, some way, while the conversation is great with the injustice with black and white, we gotta go another step up. Yeah. And it's an election year also. So, every time you turn around, it's something bad happening to black people, because I believe two things has been released on the earth: fear and hatred. Wow. Fear on one, and neither parties are right. Fear or hatred. Neither party has clean hands.
Right.
So, the Black Lives Matter is a movement that I think is the only first civil rights movement that wasn't birthed in the church.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How are you involved with your organization involved in it, partnership with it, and any insight on it?
Absolutely. I think that it's important that we make a distinction between the Black Lives Matter movement and the Black Lives Matter mantra. Because there's a difference. I don't know if people fully understand, but Black Lives Matter is a full-fledged movement with a full-fledged agenda. And as with any organization, there are bits and pieces that you eat the meat and you spit out the bones. Yeah. But I think there should be no debate around the mantra of Black Lives Matter.
Right.
In the same way you wouldn't go to a cancer rally and shout, "Hey, there are other diseases too." We know that.
Right.
But this is the one that we have to focus on right now, because this is the one that's not being served. So I absolutely fully agree with the mantra and with the idea that our society, this culture, must embrace the fact that Black must stop being equated to criminal. Black must stop being equated to disposable. Black must stop being equated to less than. And so what we've done with YLC is we've tried to be intentional about how we can stand with communities of color in this moment, and how we can lend our voice and lend our support. And so I think it's crucial that we remember that the highway to justice is a multi-lane highway.
Right.
Everybody's not going to do or fight the same way. If we look historically, we love the images and the just amazing visual of Dr. King and so many other great leaders marching across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and marching from Birmingham and marching in Atlanta. And we love that imagery. But guess what? While Dr. King was marching, it was an Andrew Young that was in boardrooms meeting with white business owners and politicians to say, okay, now this is how we're going to get this done. This is what we need to do. Yeah. Meaning it's necessary to have more than one approach to this issue. And so what we've done, we set aside a $10,000 bail fund for any members of our community that were arrested as a result of peaceful protests. And I want to make that clear. That's peaceful. Now, if you robbed a Foot Locker to get some J's, you on your own. You're gonna let the Lord take care of you. But we wanted to do something to help those that were arrested for peaceful protests, and so we set that aside. On top of that, this is something that I'm very proud of. I looked at our community and said, okay, this is what's going on. This is what the world needs. This is what the moment needs. And then I looked within our conference community and I said, we've got a lot of counselors and therapists and
Wow.
psychologists. This moment is a major mental toll on people. So
Yeah.
what we did was we set up something called Safe Spaces,
Mhm.
or online counseling center where people, and if you're watching this now, when you need somebody to talk to, we don't believe that it is a lack of faith. We don't believe that it is a lack of trusting God to say, hey, I need to sit down and talk to a professional to kind of help me give language to this. The Bible talks about wise counsel.
Yes.
It never said that wise counsel only takes place in a church. Sometimes it takes place on the couch.
Yeah.
And we assembled our counselors and therapists, all Christian, and we set up a counseling space online. In fact, all you have to do is text Safe Spaces, one word, no space, to 555-888, and we'll send you a link. You can book an appointment, and it is absolutely free. You don't need insurance. You don't need to pay anything. It's absolutely free. You can schedule your, I think, the 30-minute appointments. It's open every week. You go on, see when a slot is available, and you can talk with the licensed Christian counselor of color. And so, these are just some of the ways that we wanted to kind of contribute to the moment. When you're being bombarded with constantly death. I mean, I don't think we really fully process what these things have done for our mental health.
Oh, yeah.
Because every time, I still haven't watched it. I haven't seen it. I've seen the screenshots, and I scroll past, I turn it off because I don't need to see it. But have we thought about what it does to our spirit to constantly sit and watch? This isn't a video game, this is in the movie. To watch somebody literally lose their life in front of us.
Yeah.
That internalizing all of that, we weren't built for that. And
Right.
so, it's important that we're providing those spaces for people to work through that. And I would suggest that is just as important as our frontline, our visible marches, our protests. Everything matters and everything contributes to the cause.
Absolutely. And thanks for putting that, Miss Adela Johnson. It's Safe Space Counseling, and the number is 555-888, and here it is available. Hey, listen, so I'm preaching a sermon. I'm giving you a preview of a sermon I'm preaching on Sunday. And it is this text from Genesis where the Lord says, it's in Luke also, but in Genesis, remember Lot's wife. I'm talking to a young theologian. And so the sermon is entitled Frozen. Frozen. Okay. And I believe more than ever, more, and I've been processing it, that some people are frozen because they can't wait to go back.
Yeah.
And my belief is there is no going back. So, Mrs. Lot, she wanted to go back. There's no going back. 2020 has forever changed the world, but especially the church world. Mm-hmm. So I said, my Matthew 28, go ye therefore into all the world. It also means the virtual space, the virtual world. And on Pentecost, I started a second location. It's my virtual location. It's called V Live. V is for virtually, and live is living in victory every day. It's V Live 120. And it's where real people meet real pastor, real preaching, and experience the real presence of God. Because no matter when they say you can go out there, I'm not leaving my house till like 2025. Because like 2021, they got to try to find this, this cure. Then I got to see Trump take it in 23. I got to see how it's going to affect them first. And like 2024, then you can come back at me. So I'm already locked down for 2020. Yeah. 2025. But what do you see with the young people, with the people who you have an influence under, who was a lot in evangelist mode, who was traveling, man? They can't wait to get back and run revival. Revival is over. You know that, right? Revivals are over more. I know it's hard to tell, man, 3 nights revival, 4 nights revival. That thing is over more.
Yeah. I'm afraid that you are so right. Quite honestly, I think that we've been forced into an evolution. I think that we have been forced into a rapid change. I think that right now, one of the words that God gave me at the start of this was pivot and prosper. That's something that I've been standing on. I know God gave me that if you pivot, you will prosper. And the truth of the matter is, pivoting is not easy.
Nope.
If I can be just fully transparent, I've really, this has been a lot for me emotionally, mentally, because using my conference as an example, which of course we're not able to do this year, you can't have 7,000 people in one room. In August, in literally next month. Now, of course, we didn't know when this first broke how long, and we still don't know how long. But it's been a toll on me because you work so hard. You put so much in. You spend so much money. You invest so much blood, sweat, tears, energy, thought, time. You make so many sacrifices of relationships and all of this so that you can be focused on this, because this, I got to make this work. I got to make this moment maximize. And then to have it go away seemingly overnight, that's a lot. But part of what's been so taxing on my mind is the fact, and this is me being transparent, I feel as though I was just about to get good at something that now is seemingly evaporating and going away. So I'm saying, wait a minute. Now, again, so here's the word of the day for me, full transparency. I gladly serve and assist and work alongside my father at our church here in Atlanta. I'm glad I'm there. I'm all in, locked in. But our church, we're in that small category. Statistically, our church is not large, right? So I don't have the experience of every Sunday I'm coming with 5,000 people and lights and stadiums and all. That's not my norm. I wasn't raised with that. You know, we're impactful ministry, all of that, but it's us. It's 100 people in here. I don't have that. I'm over the whole big crowd thing. I've done that. I'm just getting good at it, you know? So I'm like, wait, Lord, you gonna take away stadiums just before I'm about to get in? I have not had. I've packed out a convention center twice now, to the glory of God. But this was our arena year. Yeah. I would go, and I'll confess, I still get in my car on the other day, and I drove to the arena that we were supposed to be in, and I just parked outside and looked at it. I'm so serious. I went last week or so. I got in my car late at night. I got in my car, drove from where I live on the north side of town, drove over there to 2000 Convention Center Avenue, College Park. I know the address and everything. I drove and just parked outside the arena and just looked at it. Yeah. So Lord, how you gonna let me get this close and I can't get in? Like I'm outside the gate, I'm all on the glass looking. Look at all them seats. Look at all them seats. Look at the seats, Lord. I was gonna feel it. And so now I'm like, well, wait a minute. If I can't do my arena, is this gonna keep me from doing my stadium? Like, what's happening? So it's a lot, because I feel like I'm, and this is very selfish, I'm being honest with you. I feel like I'm on the brink of mastering something that's on the verge of going away. Yeah, and it's scary when we think about, the church and the future of the church. We've said forever, God's not bound by a building. Well, we about to see. we're about to really have to walk into that. And so I'm looking, and my problems are small compared to, I look at so many pastors, and you can speak to this, that are in, I know of some that have just completed major building projects.
Oh my God.
I'm thinking of several pastors right now. I'm not naming names. I'm talking about 30, 40, 45, $50 million facilities, these massive sanctuaries. And I'm going to be honest, the day of building the 5,000 seat sanctuary is over. Because guess what? Pre-COVID, pre-pandemic, the way people consume information across the board, that's church, the way we consume it has already begun to shift. Pre-pandemic was already shifting online. That's why, if we want to be honest, looking at some of our white brothers and sisters, for example, Craig Rochelle. Many of you may not know that name in the comments. If you don't, you should, because Craig Rochelle is the pastor of the largest church in America.
Right.
The largest church in America, as phenomenal as Bishop Jakes and the Potter's House is, it's not the Potter's House. As phenomenal as Lakewood and Pastor Osteen are, it's not Lakewood. The largest church in America is a church called Life Church TV.
Right.
They're based in Oklahoma.
Yep.
They have, I think, like 53,000 members over like 40 locations across the country.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here's, and many of you don't know his name, but you know his app because it's Craig Rochelle's church that launched the Bible app that everybody has on their phone, like 3 billion downloads or something like that.
Right.
But here's the beauty, though. Largest church in the country, more members than any other church, but they never build a sanctuary.
Right.
It has more than 1,200 seats.
Yeah.
What they do is they build 1,200 seats and then they fill it over and over.
Yep.
And they open another location over there.
Yeah.
And then open another location over there. So what's the model? The model is, no, I'm not looking at 10,000 people every week, but we're still serving 50,000 plus. Just we went wide instead of deep. I say that to say that so much of us so many of us in the Black church, a lot of us got into almost an arms race of you built big, so I got to build big.
Yeah.
And you got 3,000 seats. Well, I might have 3,200 seats.
Yeah.
Wait, you got 3,200? We almost do church like a lot of the NFL owners did their football stadiums.
Yeah.
There was a blitz for a while where Atlanta got a new stadium, and then Tampa got a new stadium.
Yeah.
And each one, what happened? The screen got bigger. So that for 6 months until the next one was done, they could say, we got the largest LED screen in the world. Well, until the next city built theirs. They said, y'all, it's 300 feet. Yeah. It's 310. And so it's an arms race to be the biggest and the best. And now I think we've got a lot of museums and monstrosities.
Oh, my God.
That we will never fill.
Oh, my gosh.
Not even just because people don't want God. They do, but they're getting him.
Right. Oh, yeah. 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 God has been upgraded. Listen, one of
4G. 5G.
Yeah. One of my mentors said, all disappointment is ultimately God's form of protection. All disappointment is ultimately God's form of protection. And I'll say this and then I'll switch subject on you. Because, I passed the Jericho City of Praise. I feel like how you felt. Man, I got called to Jericho. These 3 pastors installed me. Now, when these 3 people install you, you're going to heaven from here. Bishop T.D. Jakes, Bishop Alfred Owens, and John Jenkins.
Yeah.
Jericho City of Praise, 10,000 seat, the number 32 largest church in 100 churches in the U.S. Man, this little girl from Trinidad, I was minding my own business, got called to Jericho. It's on the Washington Post. Here's who come. The place is packed. More. I mean, everybody flew in for my installation. It's Bishop Jakes, it's Alfred Owens, it's John Jenkins, you name it. And 1 year after, did I say 1 year? Not 1 year. 1 year. Man, they lost the lawsuit. And then I had to leave.
Yeah.
Ooh, wait a minute. First, God, what's up with this? I know I heard you.
Yeah.
I know if I didn't hear you, Bishop heard you. Yeah. If Bishop didn't hear, the apostle heard you. And I'm going through all of this stuff, man. And then so I leave and I'm in a school. I leave from a 10,000 seat to now I started my church and now I am in a school. And man, for the last 5 years, I've been trying to buy a building. And doors been shut. But more, this year I'm so glad I have a building.
Okay, you understand?
Oh, thank you, God. I don't have a building. Now, what I do have is 10 acres of land.
And land is always going to be good because it's the only thing they're not making more of. So land is always going to be good. But you won't have the pressure of we got to keep these lights on and we got to do the maintenance and then we got to do the roof. That's a struggle that I'm really concerned for a lot of churches.
Oh my God.
Under that edifice burden.
Yeah. And a lot of these guys are reopening again. It's for their own, but everybody is because of the pressure. Because the longer people stay out of the building, the concern is, will you ever get them back in the church? Now, here's the last thing I move on. I believe we've shifted from the church era to the kingdom era. That's just me. That's my 2 cents. I'm doing a study in it because now, people all over. It's now you have to have a kingdom mindset. If you just narrow down to church, more you're gonna lose your mind. You're gonna go crazy. You're gonna be grieving a lot over the church. But I think we've moved into a kingdom mindset where we supposed to be developing kingdom citizen. And we back in Acts, the early church met in homes. So I don't know what everybody's sweating. The early church met in homes and grew from 120 to 3,000 to 5,000 to 10,000, but they grew in their homes. But that's a whole other thing. When I'm talking to a preacher, I can talk all night. Hey, everybody, I'm talking to Pastor Moore Jr. I love this guy. He's an awesome guy. So it's finally me for real. Quick questions for you. What is your greatest success?
Oh, that's a good one. Depending on how we define success, I think that my greatest success has been serving. My greatest success has been, as I said earlier, I stand alongside my dad and I assist him. The reason that I think that's success is because so many people will get in your ear and get in your face and start whispering, "Doc, you doing this and you can pull this many people. Oh, if you would just start your own thing, oh man, you'd have that." But to me, success comes through consistency and submission. And success is being able to master your emotions and still serve a cause that's bigger than you. So I'm going to go with that. My greatest success has been serving out motive and agenda.
Okay, and everybody, y'all know the last 5 minutes you get to ask questions, so you can put it in the chat. I'll read it to him and ask him, what has been your biggest failure?
Oh, I hate that question because you can't say nothing. I haven't failed at all. You can't say that. But then it's so many L's. I don't know which one to go with. I think that I'll go with this one. I think that one of the biggest failures I've had and I'm still working through, quite honestly, is failing to really believe God for everything that He showed. I think that me and so many others that maybe could be honest in the comments that would kind of agree with it, I think that we sometimes dumb ourselves down or dumb our potential down because we say, God can't really do that. Not with me. No, He can't. I can't build that. I can't have that. I can't develop that. I can't see that. And I think that that's a failure because what we do is we rob our audience, the people that are assigned to our voice, we rob them of what God has placed in us. We rob them of experiencing a chance to experience the totality of what God has invested. And I think that that's a failure that all of us have to fight to overcome.
Yeah. Who would you say is your top 3 mentors?
My top 3 mentors?
Yes.
I would say my father / pastor. I would say top 3. I would say I'm gonna put Bishop Jakes out there. Mentor certainly from a distance, motivation and inspiration. And who would I give that 3rd spot to right now? Depends on the day. I'm gonna go with I'll make an interesting choice. Because I'm a conference host, I'm gonna put Bishop Carlton Pearson out there. That's what I'm gonna say. Because while there's much that we don't agree with, I think that the blueprint for faith-based event hosts,
wow,
you can't look at an Azusa and in an era with no social media, in an era with no internet in the way we now utilize it. You're filling arenas and stadiums with white people and black people and Pentecostal people and this group and that group. That's been a major inspiration and blueprint. That's what I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I checked him out. Man, that guy was beyond brilliant. Question: have you started planning for the possibility that your organization may not be able to meet in an arena in 2021? Why y'all ask him that? He's still grieving.
I rebuke that. Shannon D. Murray, I rebuke you right now. Get thee behind me, Shannon. That's a great question. It's a real question. We are looking at everything because I hate to say it, but nobody knows how this is going to play out. If we had adult leadership in the White House, if we had reasonable thinking, quite honestly, looking at the rest of the world, every other developed nation, their cases have almost completely gone away.
Right.
Almost all of the developed nations that were hit with a major outbreak, their cases have plummeted. Yet here we are in these grand United States, still on an incline. Make that make sense. All of this advancement in technology. So with that being said, I don't know, you don't know, we don't know how this is going to play out. Dr. Jazz said a moment ago she shut down until she stayed in the house till 2025. That's funny, and we all laughed, but we don't know, quite honestly, when things are going to begin to shift. So we're looking at all possibilities and really just believing God and just hoping that this thing is going to break sooner than later.
Okay, hey everybody, send your question. If we got 2 more minutes, we don't want to hold him up. But question, how are you reaching the unreachable now?
That's a good question. And I think that the truth of the matter is the darker the world gets, the brighter the church ought to shine. And so I think my opinion is that outreach and soul winning and revival is being helped by what we're seeing. Why?
Why?
People, unbelievers, are now realizing, wait a minute, all of the stuff that I've put my confidence in, all of the stuff that I've hung my hat on, my money, my job, my degrees, my neighborhood, all of my retirement plan, people are now realizing, wait a minute, all the stuff I've leaned on, this really is sinking sand. My job can't save me because my job can be gone tomorrow. My education can't save me because a degree does not fight a pandemic. They're looking around, unbelievers are looking around, and they're saying, there's got to be more than this. And so the world, I believe, is being set up to be ripe for revival. And so I think that we have to win the lost at this juncture by being who we're supposed to be.
Wow. All right. What do you want people to remember you by?
That's a good question. And honestly, I don't think I've lived long enough to answer that one yet, because I got some stuff that I haven't done yet that I think should be more memorable than the little stuff that God's helped us do so far. I think in a nutshell, though, I would love to be remembered when that time comes as someone. I want Enoch's testimony. Thank you, Jesus. I want Enoch's testimony. Say what you want. He built this, he did that, he led that. But I want my testimony to be he walked with God.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be remembered by.
Yeah. Hey, how are you keeping men involved in this season?
That's a great question. It'll be more than just parking lot ministry and security, because ain't nobody going to the physical church. So I think that within anything, as with anything, representation matters. And so I think that this is a moment, an opportunity for people, ministry leaders, male and female, to be intentional about making sure men are postured and positioned in visible and significant ways, because the only way to attract more men is by creating a climate and a culture that lets men know it's safe for me here. And so I think that the way to get more involvement from men is to platform them, utilize them, and not just treat them as tokens or pawns or as examples of stock footage. But I think we have to utilize and create real opportunities for them to be seen.
Okay, before I raise this question, I'm going to ask you the question I asked Jamal last week. He cracked up. He's like, no. And that is, what do you think of digital dating?
It's a no for me. Yeah, I think that the problem with digital dating, and this is no disrespect to those of you that maybe it has worked for you, that's great. But I think the problem for me is that I've discovered that the best thing about the internet is that you can be whoever you want to be on there. The worst thing, however, about the internet is that you can be whoever you want to be. So I think that in this season and this time in this era where it's already hard to get to know somebody, you don't need to complicate that by stacking digital distance. You don't know what's on the other side of that screen. Now, I could push this wall down and this little cardboard backdrop fall, and then it ain't no library, ain't none of that. It's, I'm in a field somewhere, and you would not know it all. So I think that this is a season where you gotta know God for yourself, and you gotta know Him or her for yourself. I need to see the whites of your eyes and see, do I see crazy in those eyes? I can't tell because you got a filter on the phone. I can't tell through Instagram. I think we're in a season. Digital is great, but let's please not lose the importance of real life human interaction and connection.
Okay, last two questions, then we'll let you go. If you had to give advice to other ministers that are full-time in ministry who are not receiving an income, what would it be? Whoa.
That's such a good question. That's such a good
God.
question. And I reiterate what I said earlier. I think that the word God gave me is a word that you need to claim for yourself, and that is pivot and prosper. That is pivot and prosper. What I mentioned earlier in the conversation, and you all can tell that I'm passionate about it because it's really where my mind is right now. I think it's relevant to this moment. The parable of the talents. I think that we all need to become ministers. We need to become that 10-talent leader, that 10-talent servant that said, yes, I preach. Yes, I have a word from the Lord. Yes, I'm a mouthpiece, a man or a woman of God. But that's not all He put in here. And so because I know how to preach, I can flip that gift of communication, because that's what it is. A preacher is nothing but a voice. It's proclaiming. I can flip that and say, God, now what else have you put in here that I can use to provide, to sustain, and to bless my family? I will make you like a tree, singular one, planted by the rivers of water. One tree, many rivers. Wow. Y'all follow me? What is it that I can tap into that can create another flow into my life? Because shame on you, and I don't mean to be offensive, but shame on us if we take a call from God and reduce that to just preaching.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
If you can preach, you can do anything. Because preaching requires you to think a certain way. You're going to be effective about it. Preaching requires you to look at things from a different. We got 66 books with they've had the same words, the same stories in them for forever.
Right.
How can you be a preacher and look at that book with fresh eyes, with fresh insight, with fresh revelation, and you're going to tell me that you can't do nothing else to make money?
Wow.
This is your season. Maybe God shut the whole world down so that you could tap into something else that you've been sitting on, that you've been robbing us of.
Right.
This is the moment to pivot and prosper.
Yeah, I said I lost a pulpit, but I found a platform. Here it is.
I like that.
I lost the pulpit, but I found a platform. Hey, what's number one behind your head? What shirt is that? What's up?
That's my YLC jersey, actually. When I moved into my new place, I framed it and put it up because that was a significant year I'm going to get, when the world opens back up, I'm going to get the actual picture in there somewhere. But that's from YLC 2018. That was our first convention center, full-fledged convention center year. And so I put in my place, I put all kind of reminders around of what God has done and where I believe He's taken me. So that's my YLC jersey on the wall.
Listen, you have crazy followers like Beyonce have the Beehive. You know that, right?
No.
I mean, you should see the 99,000 questions. Y'all, your times. They ask you, you like Jay-Z in the. For real.
Here for you.
Oh man, but I'm so proud of you, and anything I can do to support you, anything I can do to support you young people. You know, when I first started off in ministry, it was like a lone ranger. I was like trying to get in room, and I always say, God, if God ever opened a door for me, I'm gonna reach back and pour back. And I was telling a friend of mine, she like, when COVID is over in 2 years from now, you're going ready to hit the road, and I'm like, listen, I'm not going on the road in 2 years. More got this. Marissa Farrow got this. Listen, man, I've been on this road for 18 years and God has blessed me. I did Woman That Loose, Megafest, Potter's House. Lord Jesus, I've done it all. I've been to every place. When I get out of here, man, I'm finding a little spot on the island of Trinidad and Tobago on the coconut brand, coconut tree with my pina colada. I've been out there. So to see you guys take off and shine and to go, I'm like, these jokers, you know, when David killed Goliath, I tell myself, but remember there was four other giants. Man, please go kill them. I ain't going out there to kill no Goliath. That's why I told people I'm praying, but I ain't out there protesting. I'm in my 50s. Hello, somebody.
Exactly. Yes, ma'am. You can contribute from the house.
Oh yeah, because but more, how can we support you? Give us your information to know how to follow you, and everybody want to know, oh my goodness, what we gonna be doing with the young leaders? Y'all, he gonna tell y'all in all.
I promise I'm gonna tell you. I promise.
But please tell them how to follow you, how to connect with you. And guys, you make sure you tag with this guy, because this guy is a leader. You're so ahead of your time, more, and you're so ahead of your time, and I'm so excited for what God is doing in your life. Tell them about your social media handler, how they can get a hold of you.
I'm going to make it as simple as possible, but I must say again, thank you so much, Dr. Jazz, not just for having me. That's beyond an honor. But thank you even deeper than that for putting this platform together and for giving people a chance to find who they finally are for real. And so thank you on behalf of everybody in here, everyone that has shared it and is sharing even now. Thank you for your yes, because we're better as a result of it. With that being said, you all can follow me. In fact, I want everybody to follow me on Instagram. That's where we're going to get probably most of our updates and things that we're doing and just a glimpse inside our world. But follow me at M Moore Jr. That's MMOOREJR. Somebody will put it up there in the comments. But follow me on Instagram. If you watch today, send me a DM. Let me know. Let me know that this was good and what stood out to you. But Instagram is the best way to connect with me. That's the follow the conference too at Explore YLC, but at M Moore Jr. And we'll see you. We'll see you when you join us on the page.
Well, fantastic. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us. Next week is his girl, Marissa Farrow is next week. Yeah. I'm excited. The sister is back, and then Reginald Sharp is next. He's gonna be coming in, and then Howard John Wesley, and like I said, I lost the pulpit, but I got a platform, and I'm using this platform to bring you guys some amazing people, powerful preachers and teachers who are out there doing some stuff. And Moore is the guy you need to follow, tag, support, encourage, and anything we can do, we're here for you. Thanks again, Moore. Have a fantastic weekend, and happy little 4th of July if you celebrate it. Or happy July.
I'm gonna be in the house, but yes, ma'am.
All right. God bless. You're welcome. All right, everybody. Thanks so very much for joining us. Did you guys enjoy that? Was that amazing or what? That guy is brilliant, right? Make sure you check him out. Check it out. It's going to be on my YouTube page. It's going to be great. But thanks, everybody, for joining us. Have a fantastic weekend. Happy 4th of July. God bless you all. We'll talk to you guys on next Friday.